AI is basically an assistant to most jobs. No,
To the economy, so we can be the leader, but
processing of minor data is safeguarded.
Of course, we need to train the teachers. Of course, that
process would be good enough that AI would be able to follow up.
For those who believe this is the launch point.
here we go. The third episode.
So I think after the previous two episodes, we've refined the process a little bit. So the topic, AI in education, is what we'll stick with. But we have a couple of questions to bring to the table to provide some more structure than the previous episode 2 had. So with that being said, shall we start on the first question?
Yeah, the first question is, how can AI augment education? That's the first question.
I think the best place to start for this is probably Ismail.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, your business model is.
All right, so where's the best way to start with this? I think that the way it's going at the moment, we don't have widespread adoption yet. But if we were to go for an ideal solution for integrating AI into schools, we would be pivoting towards one-to-ones. And I think I have some figures here, but before I go for them,
What do you mean by one-to-ones?
what I mean by one-to-ones is you have an AI that's personalized for you. So you have your usual school curriculum, but instead of the curriculum being taught in classrooms per se, you'd have students on their own with the AI.
Mm-hmm.
AI would teach them content, and it would identify like weaknesses, strengths, answer follow-up questions. We're looking at maybe, depending on when it comes out, I mean, some schools in America already have this in place where they have, the student with their own AI, learning the content, and then anything that doesn't work, you have a human in the loop, which is like an experienced teacher, who you would then have meetings with on any misconceptions. And that's if the AI hasn't clarified it for you, which for the majority of cases, it's like, well, if you keep asking it questions and the student begins to understand more and more, the human in the loop is just more of a safeguard, like just in case the student doesn't understand anything that's given through, of which I think by the time we get to that being widespread, the process would be good enough that the AI would be able to follow up.
So it's like personalized AI for each student? Or
For each student. Personalized AI for each
But
student.
that's going to be expensive, right?
Um,
I mean,
It
to
depends.
have a model for each student.
you wouldn't have a model for each student. So you would have a main model that's
Yeah.
trained on
Each
being able
student's
to educate
data, you mean?
each student's data.
Okay,
Right.
yeah.
So it wouldn't be a model specifically for the student. It would be a not generic, but specialized model for studying. And that model would then have the student's data that the AI is then able to pick from in terms of what to give the student and how. Because everyone learns in a different way, right?
Yeah.
So I think where the industry should be heading, obviously we haven't had much development at the time being, because a lot of the time people don't want to, like, I would say it's more so now to do with individuals with startups trying to make this innovation, but schools themselves, I haven't seen much interaction in this sense. Because, yeah, go on.
Well, I was just going to ask to what extent you think that might be the issue of safeguarding around child's data, because this is going to prevent a lot of innovation at the moment until we can find a good way to train these models on the data of children. But there are safeguards in place, like processing of minor data is safeguarded. And actually, this was going to be one of my follow-up questions. Obviously, you are building a model to enhance workflows in education on an individual level. But when we're talking about personalized AI for each individual in a classroom, that AI is learning from the personality of that child. What are the dangers that you see from an AI that is learning from a personality of a child, both in regards to the child's data going through that system, but also the danger of, over-affirmation, because these models are built, and they're built to profit, they're built to sell. And I heard recently, I'm not sure if it was on a Tucker Carlson podcast or another. But the idea of an AI is a perfect psychopath, an AI that reflects your personality back at you in much the same way that a real psychopath would read your emotions and your facial expressions and body language and reflect the same back.
I think on the topic of children's data,
Yeah.
I was actually doing some research on this for coursework, but the GDPR already states that you have to have precautions and consent in place
Yeah.
in order for you to safeguard minors' data. But I see what you mean in terms of the main motive of the company being money.
Yeah.
So at the moment, because a lot of these initiatives in terms of AI tutoring are private, the parents are consenting to the processing of the data. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, the processing is done in-house.
Right. So, like,
So all the data is encrypted within the system of the school.
okay.
Although I'm not sure exactly what they are using. If they are using mainstream LLMs, then obviously the question comes, we're using the data to train, we're training the LLMs on student data,
Yeah.
but it's external, so how do you control that? That's the problem. And I think in this sense, it's good for us to, a lot of innovation comes from individuals going out and making stuff, but it has to come to a point where the government has to come in, invest in it as well, when it sees that it's getting widespread, because then you can create a general system and put in place the safeguards.
When it comes to processing in-house, keeping everything within the school's ecosystem rather than letting that minor data go onto the cloud, how do you foresee us overcoming the problem of cost of infrastructure? Because that sounds very costly to set up in most schools, and we're already in not a particularly great place when it comes to the economies of the West. That would require mass investment from the state or in private education. Frankly, far greater set of fees for those in the private system.
So I would say, definitely in terms of this innovation, private schools are going to lead because they have the money. So if they're looking to get that edge on how exactly the students can get better and marketing their schools, for sure, I think AI in education is first going to be implemented privately. It's like, without a doubt, this is how capitalism works. In terms of the state school sense, I'm not too sure exactly how the government is working on data centers and organization, because I know UK wants to be the leading power in AI.
No, they don't.
Now they don't? No? Because Rishi Sunak was
They
talking
just
about
want
it
to
that
be in
time.
the game. Like, that's how they always played. They just want to be relevant. I think United States and China are the ones who want to.
No,
lead the
100%,
AI
100%.
revolution. Yeah,
I think US and China are the main ones.
yeah.
But I do remember seeing that UK was saying, oh, like, we want to be leaders in AI. I don't know how... Claims are claims.
Yeah.
They want to play, but they don't want to be the main player.
I mean, they don't have enough money to be the leader. They don't want to
No, for
invest.
sure.
Yeah, they're trying to like give us an ecosystem for founders and like startups to be able to add to the economy so we can be the leader. But at the same time, there's so much bureaucracy and regulation at the same time. That's why I always say we shouldn't hinder the innovation if we want to look at it as like a, I would say, sovereign AI. So UK actually can be the leader, but they don't have the culture. I think that's very important. If you want to lead, you have to be able to risk everything and actually put some resources.
I think, we might have like a whole podcast on this, but
Yeah.
this is a big problem with culture.
For sure.
The culture in US and culture in Europe, completely
Capitalism
different.
and socialism, which leads to
It's-
communism now.
Yeah. Europe has an emphasis on community, whereas US has an emphasis on American dream.
Yeah.
I remember listening to a podcast before I went, because I had an internship at a French bank, and they had some resources beforehand. And they said it straight, which is, in Europe, the main goal isn't just make money. The goal in Europe is to make money sustainably and have work-life balance and
Yeah.
have all these ecosystems in place, social care, all this. Whereas US, to the other extreme sense, is, you make your way up to the top, you make the money, you get the money, that's it. Everything else doesn't matter. If you don't, work hard, you're done basically. Which
Full dedication.
full dedication, full cut through capitalism.
Yeah.
Both have their benefits, but I think for Europe to say that they want to be leading, but then have an ecosystem and culture that hinders that sort of relentless innovation is what's causing the problem. And I think that's also why America were the first to implement AI in education. Right? But yeah, go on.
Well, I just wanted to raise the question. Obviously, the hesitation in implementation is a hindrance to, mass adoption and the innovation which comes of a huge variety of test subjects and locations. But at the same time, do you not think that having different approaches like this means, although Europe's going to be slightly further behind, perhaps our approach will be slightly more...
You want to say safe?
Don't say. No, I wasn't going to say safe. I was going to say considered. Just insofar as these, I know what you're talking about. The UK forms a strange hybrid because compared to other European cultures, I don't think the UK is particularly community focused. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you go to Italy, France, Spain, there's a lot of emphasis on the family. And having a lot of emphasis on the family means you form these micro communities which then expand outwards. There is, in terms of data as well, a far greater drive in Europe for implementation of safe policy rather than payouts for the maluse. Like here in the UK and in the States, there's more of a desire for payment as reparation for the for the poor use of data. But over in Europe, and there are studies on this, when it comes to misuse of data across the board, French, Italian regulators especially see more people come to them and want guarantees that this won't happen again, rather than just remuneration for the mistake that was made.
No, yeah. I do agree with you. And I think when Europe gets to it, it will be more regulated, for sure.
Okay.
But I also think that... Yeah, I mean, if the government gets involved, yes, usually when stuff happens like that. But in terms of the schooling sense, I have a feeling in the way we're heading in terms of just general legal grounding of stuff, it will be centralized. We'll probably hand it over to private companies, but I think the government will instill safeguards in place for the children's data.
I would like to clarify, though, that I'm not advocating for overuse of red tape.
Oh, yeah.
This is, of course, a massive barrier to innovation across the world, and we do need to find a better balance. It seems that in some places there is no red tape, there is no regulation, and in others there's an over-regulation.
Yeah.
But, Daniel, I'm interested to know your stance on AI in the classroom from a neurobiology standpoint, the effect of human interaction on the development of a child's brain, and how you see implementation across a one-to-one basis hinder, potentially, a child's neurological development, whilst at the same time augmenting their ability to learn in the classroom.
A loaded question. I love it.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's great. So let's go to the one-to-one first.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge advocate for one-to-one, as I had it, fortunately I had it myself for many years. I was homeschooled for since I was 15. So one-on-one, there's a huge difference because like you could do so much, you're just more efficient and you learn faster. There's less time for like procrastination, or like when you're doing the work, you're actually really taking it all in. So that's really valuable, and AI can provide that. But then, of course, a one-on-one would also push more of a sense of people not wanting to go to schools. Like, why should I go to school if I can just use an AI at home and it's a better teacher than the teacher at school? So then social problems could come in, right? Because it's a huge thing of going to school. It's a really good social thing for the children and them developing the brain through that, there are neurological structures for like social communication and these sort of things. And if you just communicate with words on a screen, it's kind of difficult as well. Okay, let's say in the next 10 years, there won't just be words on the screen. It'll be a figure, it'll be a character actually like explaining it to you like this, right, on the computer. But still, you're not really getting that physical connection.
But it's not a human connection. We see this when we talk about the way that these digital devices have really enhanced connectivity. Internationally, like I'm able to call my family in Canada. I'm able to interact with them on a semi-regular basis. But at the same time, being with them in person is very different. And this isn't speculation. This is actually well documented. And just to ground what you're saying, there's a fantastic source, Ruth Feldman of 2017. It's called Neurobiology of Human Attachments. And excellent quote, which I thought very pertinent to this. Human attachments promote homeostasis, health, and well-being through life. That applies across the board, but a lot of this article talks about the importance of human attachment in an infant, in that kind of 6 to 12 month window. I mean, even before that as well. The release of oxytocin and dopamine in the striatum, which is that brain reward center of a baby being held to its mother. You know, synchronizing heart rates, that loving gaze. These things, like you pick up the child when it's crying and you bring it to yourself, you look at it, and all of a sudden it has an immense calming effect. And this is immediately promoting that response center to seek that again and again and again, that human attachment. It's why we are pack animals. It's why it's so important to us. But when it comes to, as you say, one-to-one, yes, there's a huge increase in efficiency because not only are you getting personalized tutoring in a method which suits your own learning, but you also, your tutor takes a personal interest, right?
Not just like it's, I'm not a neurobiologist or a neurologist, but I would think, logically speaking, that since there is a deeper process of learning, there are deeper connections and those connections in your brain are more embedded. So on the neurological perspective, it is definitely, again, way better. But let's say if we go away from like that sort of physical perspective, we could go back and look at culture. Okay, so America, like you said, Ismail, is sold on like the American dream, and the education system is very freedom based. You get to choose your modules, you get to choose this, you get to, well, that's what we do in England. It's very freedom based. You get to be what you want.
Yeah.
So maybe AI education could give us the ability to become more of what we want, something like that. But on the other hand, China, there's less freedom. It's you do this, you have to get the grades. It's just so much pressure into merit. And with AI, everyone could do that better. So I would say there's going to be way more competition. Like competitions actually can be a lot. It's already incredibly.
It's already
difficult,
it's already quite high at the moment.
yeah, it's
isn't it?
incredible. Like people are taking their kids out from China because it's so competitive, and with the implementation of AI, I think it's going to be more more competitive. Like over there in China, they value one-on-one. They value teachers, I would say, a lot more than the Western culture from my own experience and perspective. And then now you can have this one-on-one teacher with you at all times. It's going to be incredible. They're going to use the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arsha, I'm interested to know what you think on how we adopt AI for its incredible ability to augment learning whilst not foregoing the human attachment necessity that school actually provides and nurtures.
I think it should be illegal to not to use AI in education at this point.
That's a fair point.
There we are.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
It should be illegal because we have so much worthless teachers in education. They're old. They don't know anything.
I'd like to add that I'll just say I had a mentor who said, and I quote him, if university were to be made again, it would not be made in the way it was made.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is
Because I
interesting.
mean, I think I was telling Julian in the gym, people don't change their mind; they just get old and die. So, if we want to have some sort of updates on ideas and the way that we educate children and people, we have to implement AI. For the transition, we should have a human, not like one human, but set of experts in the loop. I don't think we need that physical connection with teachers. I think having students having connections with one another and they're going to be like taught by an AI or something would be more efficient for their time and productivity at the same times, but they can have like connections with one another. So their social life will be kind of balanced. The thing that I wanted to mention, there's a book called The Science of Rapid Skill Acquisition, which I really recommend because I think this is the skill that children need to acquire. They need to be flexible in the age of AI. So that's one of the things that we have to educate them on. Like they have to learn how to adapt themselves, learn fast, and accept the fact that their education has a kind of expiry date. So they need to just re-educate themselves.
Yeah, the codex of knowledge is constantly being broadened and revised for sure.
Exactly.
It's going to be
But
more leverage.
for sure, yeah. But at the same time, yeah, the problem with the West, I think, we have a module called Reach to Success. We have someone.
Is it?
We have someone. Yeah, we have someone who's very old and who's teaching us. Yeah, which is kind of woke.
Really
and-
want to fail now.
I mean, I don't care. Like, I'm just honest. Like, I always express my opinions.
Yeah.
If you put people in the place and you're going to pay them for something old that has not been updated, maybe for the last 10 years, that should be illegal because you're not actually educating us who are going to build the future. So I think at this point, government needs to be involved and reconsider the way that they hire people, maybe hire less humans, add more AI, but keeping humans in the loop for the transition. And kind of, I think the skills that we need to focus is mostly persistence, creativity, critical thinking, which we talked about in the second episode. If you haven't watched that, go and watch that episode as well. That was a good one on leadership. I think these are the skills that we need to educate people and children to learn over time rather than like hard skills. So soft skills are very important. Yeah.
Just going back to like this oldness, it's very easy to think of or even just it is easier to implement AI into schools and education systems. Sure, easy. But then getting the teachers to learn how to use them or use them best to then use them for the children, that's actually going to be where the problem is.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. Like we were talking before, it's hard for people above, let's say maybe 35, 40, if they're not in the top few percentile or whatever, to adopt these technologies. And to be honest, most of these teachers, they learn how to teach in their 20s, and then they go and teach in their late 20s and 30s.
And because they don't want to adapt themselves, they deny the technology and they say, hey, you can't use AI. And that's bad. Like, that's the worst thing.
No, agreed for sure. But I'm interested to bring Parry in here because one of my favorite teachers throughout my high school education was an English literature teacher who really fostered an excellent relationship with his class. It wasn't a punitive one, but where the class was particularly boisterous, he would often come in and target the ringleaders with immensely intelligent little quips here and there. And there would be an excellent amount of word fencing and wordplay. And it really promoted an intellectual environment in the class that the children sought after. Like me and my peers would vie to compete at his level because he was an immensely intelligent individual. And his that kind of competition with the teacher really promoted learning. Now, where I don't disagree that we have a massive issue within education with teachers and with a lack of adaptability, and more, I would say, a lack of responsibility being taken for the immense immense weight of responsibility that teaching and educating the next generation really is. I wonder how we move forwards, Parry, in a way that we don't forego human teachers because of present weaknesses and rather empower them to use this technology as something to augment their own capabilities.
Thank you. You brought a great point. I think for school, between elementary school and high school, you need teachers. Why I'm saying this? Because it's not only about teaching you how to read or how to write. It's mostly about it teaches you how to live, basically. So it's a kind of like a parenting, but it's like a second parenting kind of way. It has to stay. Like I don't think that if you just leave children in a classroom and tell them, okay, do this exercise and do it on your own, and they will search for, I don't know how, what is the formula for oxygen. They will be like searching for what is the newest trend for, I don't know, gaming or something. What I'm thinking is, to a certain level, you have to teach them discipline. And only way to teach someone discipline is to raise them. Like, and not as parents per se, but I mean, like, you need to be in a certain environment and that they have to feel a little bit of suffering. No, not suffering in a sense that, okay, pain or anything, but not receiving pleasure at every second of every moment. Mm-hmm. So, but after that, before this education system, our education system in the UK and the US, and a lot of other countries, not Europe, but is mostly based on Perusian way of education. Like you sit behind a class, a teacher teaches you, and okay, that's great, sure. It works in some sense.
Which is not effective, though, is it?
It's not effective, but works so far. So it's like, it's not super effective, but it has worked better than other kind of so far.
I think it's like, because we don't see any other way now.
Yeah,
Because
right now we don't see any other way.
Democracy is the worst form of government, but it's the one that works.
Yeah.
It's the least efficient.
How else are we going to lecture people?
Yeah. And I think like after high school, after you raise those children, basically, you should leave them to go and explore what they want. I don't believe in the... If I had to choose, I would never go to college right after high school. Like, go and see who you are, what you want. Like before, like in Aristotle times, people wouldn't go for... They didn't have to like do education. They didn't have to educate themselves. But when they did, they went and searched for it. Like found. Like you guys said, found someone to teach them, like asked a master to teach them something. Like,
so our master is AI now. That's the difference.
It could be AI, absolutely.
Oh, no.
But I think you can do a lot with AI on your own. But then there should be like, how do you say, a wise person who will guide you through this.
Gemini 3.
Well, no, I have to come and agree with Parry here, because as much as I don't disagree that we can use AI as this kind of personal tutor and master and whatnot. Again, this was another excellent point that Tucker raised in the podcast with Sam Altman. These machines have a moral code, an ethical code that we are not privy to. So whereas with a master that you choose, someone that you have studied, you've researched, and you've found perhaps through word of mouth, recommendations from others who've previously studied under them, or nowadays in the digital age, someone that you've gone and you've done your research about, you can learn like what their influences are, where they came from, their education, their family. There's so much data out there to support your choice. Whereas these machines, as much as they will provide you a wealth of information and education, how can you be certain the influence that they're trying to exact on you during that process? Because education is a matter of influence.
Yeah.
So I would say, I really need to find this example. So as I was saying before, America has already implemented this sort of system. And the school was actually built by founders who made it in a form of a startup and then released it to the public as a private school. Now, the way they did it, I'll probably...
Oh, is it the one that he sent it to me?
It's the one.
Okay.
We'll probably put it in the caption.
Put it in the description.
Description.
Yeah, for you guys.
We'll put it in the description. Because when I saw it, it was maybe a year back or a few months back. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
It was amazing. The way they have it structured, which I think should be an example for other schools and countries who are going to do it, is you've got the content. The AI gives you a personalized curriculum to learn that content. You spend 3 to 4 hours a day. Like 4 hours in the morning, you do your content. Then for the next 4 hours, 5 hours, you're interacting with coaches, which are like experienced teachers or in any field that you want.
Like a human coach.
Like a human coach.
Okay.
You go and schedule meetings to see them out. You have projects with other students.
Yeah, that's
I remember seeing they had a project for first year in middle school where they had to work together to set up an Airbnb business.
Wow.
It was crazy.
impressive.
I think it's really cool because you spend 4 hours learning the main content you need to integrate in society anyway as a baseline knowledge of this is what I need to know to be able to problem solve, this is what I need to know in terms of math, English, whatever it is to have that skill.
The toolkit.
The toolkit, right? And then the other 4 hours, you're applying that toolkit, right? You're making businesses, I don't know, you're writing books with friends, you're going out with friends to discuss things. I think they said there was like 1 hour or 2 hour recess as well. So it's
So the practical way involves human, but
Yeah.
getting the information is just
It's
AI.
just AI.
Because that's the efficient
so we can
way,
streamline the process for human interaction and the knowledge
Yeah.
on, say, the technical side and everything else can be first, like the AI can lay those foundations and humans can elevate those foundations.
I think that's brilliant, and I think as we've discussed previously, that term balance, it comes back seemingly every time because frankly, again, it's about
Hate that term.
Cutthroat
There's
Cassidy's
no
talking.
I mean, the profound impact that a lack of human attachment has on the human brain can't be understated. I mean, another great study which I would recommend going and looking into for the evidence of this is one by a chap. I'll try to pronounce his name. Ijendurn, I believe Dutch, but it was a study quoted in a paper he wrote, Adoption and Cognitive Development, back in 2005, about around Romanian adoptees, showing an increase from 60 IQ at the time of adoption to 100 IQ at 4 years old.
And that was from what?
Well, it's in the context of children that have been abandoned in institutions in Romania. And I mean, institutions across the world, not just Romania, have a terrible reputation of a lack of human attachment, a lack of resourcing, and a lot of malpractice.
Okay.
So it really evidenced the profound regenerative side of this human attachment. And as we well know, like the human brain doesn't stop developing at 4. The human brain doesn't stop developing at 16. So that the digital side of things, I think, can't exist without. Because if it exists without human interaction, we risk stunting all the augmented knowledge that student has accrued by a brain which just can't function.
Just touch upon on that study.
Yeah.
I think it's the same one I'm referring to. It's the orphans institutionalized. Another way for them to the other way that they regenerated their IQ was through like nutrition.
Yeah.
And like you said, that sort of social nurturing.
Yeah.
Because trauma, there's two main ways that we found that can decrease IQ, which is poor nutrition and trauma.
Yeah.
So we haven't found any other way to increase IQ, which is where we're stuck at.
It's a
That's why
pity.
we're going
I hear
artificial.
iodine's pretty good.
Iodine's great, but aside from all the other ways of
Just use
increasing
Neuralink.
in teens and
Implant Neuralink for high IQ.
Just gonna what? Just like increase your IQ.
Yeah. We're going to have a podcast on that, so we're not.
Oh,
Gonna
okay, okay.
We'll talk about
We'll keep it
transhumanism
posted.
later.
We need
Yeah.
to we need to discuss health drinks as well because we brought them on for this one.
Oh yeah.
Let's go for that for like a quick 30-40 second plug.
I mean, what do we think? I was gonna pick up Holos Kombucha. Quick shout out to them for the best non-alcoholic drink. I say non-alcoholic. Apparently, it contains trace levels of alcohol
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's fermented ginger.
Yeah.
But in terms of non-alcoholic health drinks, the Holos Kombucha Citra hopped. If you feel like you want a beer, but you also don't want to drink alcohol, this is the perfect drink.
perfect for me, then,
The Citra hops taste phenomenal. I mean, Citra hops are one of my favorites in an IPA. Citra and Simcoe, alongside Mosaic. But the Citra hop in a ginger context, mind-blowing. But what did we think of the trip?
I actually have not tasted the trip yet.
tasty. I would
It
say
was
tasty.
great,
Well
but
balanced.
heavy, a little bit heavy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
no
peach and
trip.
ginger is kind of
That's good.
spicy.
Yeah,
Let me just wait.
liked it though. I haven't tried this one.
Oh,
What is
by
this
the
one?
mic, Ismail.
Can I try one of
Yes.
these?
Bismillah, bismillah, bismillah.
I want to try this one. Was it Love Your Gut? Do you love your gut? Yeah. Belgian chocolate.
Oh, it tastes like tea. A bit. You know what it is? So, I don't know if you guys have tasted the Pret Elderflower Sparkling.
I
This-
have, yes.
This is like undertones. Like undertone side of it. But it also has a
is
taste
good.
of tea.
Oh my
well,
God,
it
this
does
is good.
contain ginseng
This is very good.
and
That makes sense.
L-theanine.
Have
Yeah,
you had what's that drink?
yerba mate?
Purdy's.
What?
Purdy's. I don't think you
Oh
have.
yeah, I've had Purdy's. Yeah, the
So it's-
apple rejuvenation one. Yeah.
So it's like
yeah.
it's like a mix of Purdy's, Pret, and some other stuff, which is quite interesting. I think it's good. Yeah.
Oh my God,
Oh, we
this
should
is
bring
very
some.
good.
We should
This
bring
is
some
even
yerba mate
better.
next time.
Huh?
Yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
down with some
Mate.
yerba
I don't
mate.
know.
Oh,
In the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
kombucha.
It's like
Yeah, the kombucha is delicious. Thanks for bringing that
Kombucha's-
along.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah.
And of course,
It is
really,
really
good for
good,
your gut
yeah.
as
Oh, yeah, yeah.
fermented ginger.
This is good.
Right, I'm giving you
Cheers.
dairy free. Yeah,
We're,
cheers.
we're mixing it all.
Bro, we're gonna have such an experience afterwards. I just realized.
Oh, that is very good actually. I mean, Belgian chocolate's always a good,
Yeah.
good flavor.
It's a bit soft as well, so you can taste the liquid is like
Yeah.
soft to the taste.
Any Yakult users here?
sorry.
And yeah,
No, actually,
Yakult?
what is that?
I used to drink a lot of that.
So
Really?
apparently, I had
Oh, how
quite
about-
a few back as a kid. Yeah, health data incoming. I had when I was really, really young. I think like a couple weeks old or something. Apparently, I got like a staph infection or something.
Couple
And so-
weeks old.
Yeah.
How do you
something like
remember?
that. Well, no, I've been told.
He's been journaling since he came out of the womb.
Allegedly, I had some type of staph infection, but they had to chuck me on antibiotics, and the nurse at that time recommended my parents to give me Yakult as a way to regenerate all the microcultures and bacterial cultures and whatnot in your gut. And I think it contains something like 2 million or 2 billion different bacterial
2
cultures
million?
in million or billion. I'm not certain. In one small Yakult thing, which is a Japanese invention, and it tastes phenomenal.
Yeah, Yakult
And
is-
it's also like I find it really good. Like when I feel I've had too many toxins
Yeah.
in my diet, like balancing the gut out again with a host of
Yeah, your
bacterial
gut, your
cultures, yeah.
I
gut
have
brain.
a question. What is the difference between this and a ginger beer?
This one, so if I'm not mistaken, kombucha's like you put tea, you put sugar. is it sugar?
It says no
Tea,
sugar.
and then they ferment it, and then no sugar, I think, is the instance when it eats all the sugar.
Yeah,
But
because
bacteria eats
to ferment it, you've got to
Yeah.
have that yeast. And
I used
that's,
to make this actually. So
Oh, right.
it's called
I mean,
it's called
the
a
trip-
SCOBY.
The trip
Okay.
one was all right, but this one is something else. This is really good.
Yeah, it's
Is
called
it
a
this one?
SCOBY. So it's like this
I had
mini.
too much, bro.
Open it up. No, yeah.
Later.
Yeah, later.
Daniel, what was it?
It's a SCOBY. It's good. That's what the bacteria thing is called, and it pretty much doubles every time.
Okay.
So the process is you you make some tea, and then you put loads of sugar in it because the bacteria needs to eat the sugar,
Yeah.
and as it eats it, it will ferment. But you put it in like a glass jar. Let's say this is a glass,
Yeah.
and you put it all inside, and you need to put a cloth over it so it can breathe.
Yeah.
And then you can just
Yeah.
see it.
That's why some
Don't
people do.
seal
yeah.
it.
No,
if
no,
you
no, no.
seal it, if it's plastic, it's going to explode. If it's glass, it might too if it's not heavy duty. But
Yeah. Shall
okay.
we move on?
Just move on.
Question. Yeah, I have a
Go on.
question.
Yeah, sure.
Just getting back to questions.
Sure.
Do we need teachers?
oh, we're going to go for that one next.
Ooh, okay.
Well, I mean, we've heard your
Julian.
thoughts on that.
Yes.
Go on, Judy.
Julian, come on.
What-
First, give me like a yes or no, and then explain, because I want to know. Like,
Oh, I'm going to say yes.
okay.
Cool.
I'm going to say yes. I think that one-on-one tuition from a machine is great, but that machine doesn't care about your development. That machine is programmed to help you develop and to track the markers of your development. But there's just a lack of human care, where your parents will take an active interest in how you are learning. So the vision that, not the vision, the study that Ismail actually brought forward of the school in the States, the idea that you use AI for the immense wealth of knowledge that it can bring, if it's truth-seeking, if it's genuine
First principle.
first principle machine.
Yeah.
You use it for the wealth and the exploration that it can be used for, but then you pair that with perhaps like we have at university, like a personal academic tutor who actually takes responsibility for how you're learning. And more than just academic markers like we have at the moment, how you're learning socially, how you're learning different tools. Like I think we're going to get onto this in a couple of minutes, how we educate our children to live in the age of AI and the idea of tools rather than like knowledge. But if we give teachers the ability to focus on the holistic growth of the child rather than just hit the markers of the state, hit those tests, those formative, I cannot remember the proper name for them in the States, but like SATs and stuff.
SATs.
Standardized
Standardized
testing.
tests,
That's it. It's no longer a matter of just hitting those standardized tests, hitting these different exams here, there, and everywhere, but actually tailoring the educational experience to the individual. I think teachers will play a massive role in that because unlike machines, they have if they take seriously their duty of care, they will have
Which they don't.
which they don't. Well, I mean, which the vast majority. Let's not color.
I'd say,
let's not color all
of course.
teachers
Depends
with
on
the same brush.
experiences, right? Yeah.
And this is where I think there's a brilliant school in London with
KCL?
no.
Not
Sorry.
Massive
Glaze.
thanks to Catherine Burble Singh, who is known in this country as the strictest headmistress.
Okay.
A member
Okay,
of the
okay,
Together
okay.
movement. But she adopted a similar principle to Rudy Giuliani's cleanup of New York back when gangs were a big problem. And it was cracking down on small crime. Not waiting for the big crime, cracking down on the small crimes. So being late to a lesson is taken seriously.
Yeah.
Infringements on the standard uniform are taken seriously. Chatter in classroom is taken seriously. And it promotes this immense culture of respect. And I think that kind of, that teaching, that immensely human teaching, that social education is necessary for a human to develop, because otherwise we're lost. We aren't machines, and we need from a neurobiological standpoint and from a social education standpoint, screens will not teach you how to read a human's body language. Like even videos of humans. There was an excellent study done. I'm not sure if I've got it in
Just a
front.
controversial take on this,
Yeah,
because I know
please.
there's a lot of controversy in terms of like uniform, non-uniform. I know some people who probably watching this who know me would probably argue that having uniform and being told to do stuff sort of puts you in a box. So what's your take on that? That's my interesting
Oh,
thing.
that's okay. I went to uniform schools all my life, bar the final one, Cheetham School of Music, which was a very different kind of education to what I was used to. First, Westminster Cathedral, which was a Catholic choir school, regimented. Especially as a chorister, my day was regimented from 6:45 when I woke up till 9:30 when I went to sleep, or 10 by the end of my time there. Like, every minute was planned.
Yeah.
Every minute was planned. My uniform was non-negotiable. I mean, undoing your top button with a tie-up was like,
Oh yeah.
that was rebellious.
It's like
That's
a common
like-
thing, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
But in many ways, I found the uniform incredibly.
liberating, because amongst my peers it provided a level playing ground. My second school downside was where I was slightly more aware of the socioeconomic differences between my parents and the parents of those around me.
Yeah.
I was there on scholarship and bursary. We couldn't afford that kind of education without those. And there were many students there who came from immensely wealthy families. The generational wealth.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But the uniforms provided this level playing field where instead of labels and brands on everything, you had every student starting as a student of downside rather than this person has the newest this, that, and the other. And you still saw that, let's say, in sports gear or headphones or phones or whatever that was, but it was far less obvious than it otherwise would have been. And I think that actually facilitated a lot of social cohesion, which otherwise wouldn't have occurred. There would have been a them and us.
Yeah.
Approach.
I see what you mean.
I think that's a great way to look at it. And I think that view of putting children or institutions putting people into a box with uniform, or uniform is one of those ways, right? I think that's definitely a thought from the West.
No, yeah, 100%.
Because like they're all about freedom and things like that, and trying to link that with the I've forgotten her name, the strictest headmistress,
Catherine Burble Singh.
Yeah. So she's like, well, kids. I mean, we shouldn't be giving kids that much of a choice. They shouldn't be able to decide for themselves for these things.
No,
Like, they
absolutely
don't know.
not.
So if you just cut out all of that and just give them the uniform, I think it's a great. I think I'm all for the uniform.
What I would say is like, I am more comfortable. Well, that's a really bad way to put it. But because of my years in school here,
Yeah.
a three-piece is really comfortable
Oh,
compared
it
to
is.
just
It
wearing
is.
like
Yeah, I used to love
jeans
my
and t-shirt.
Very functional.
Very functional. I guess you could also say that it plays a part in confidence, but I just really like a three-piece.
It has come to dictatorship now.
Before Perry comes in, I saw Arsha cringe when Daniel said students shouldn't be given a choice, and I just wanted to bring up.
Guys.
Okay, not that
I mean, look,
strict,
I sort of
Obviously, they
nearly
should have
cringed,
choices,
but-
but
yeah,
not
but-
like about these little things.
like focus on what's
Not
matters.
about their gender.
Focus
but
on
yeah.
what matters, but also, I mean, William Golding had this right. Parents need to be but like everybody needs to be reading Lord of the Flies. Children without discipline are just
Oh
animals.
yeah.
Like this is
Yeah,
this is
discipline
where
is different than like not giving them choice.
no, but you give them choices in things which are not particularly significant, rather than things which are. Like the way they interact with the teacher.
like
you
having the
don't-
uniform like doesn't matter.
So the reason
No,
I'm
but what I was arguing was actually having a uniform, taking that choice away from the children, gives it takes away agency from the child to exert their social hierarchy in the school situation, right?
That's basically Mark Zuckerberg's approach, like the way that I always wear black. That's,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the
Right,
reason,
okay.
because I don't want
There
to
we
think
are.
about it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I want to
Decision
like,
fatigue.
yeah, okay.
I mean,
makes sense.
I would like to say, okay, I'll put out this argument. Would you agree that you feel different with different clothes?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
It's a
Yes,
different mask. It's a
absolutely.
different thing.
You put on
right?
a tailored suit,
Oh yeah.
you're ready to attack.
You're a million
that
dollars,
is-
right? You're a million
That
bucks.
is absolutely
So
true.
when you put on, let's say, your tracksuit or whatever, that's sort of your
There has
mode
been studies
of,
about it, actually.
right? Yeah. That you sit down and relax. When you put on a nice suit or something, it's like, okay, it's time for me to work. It's time for
Yeah.
me to produce something.
Time for me to
right?
learn.
Yeah.
So it's that sort of formality and intention that it'll be good to bring to schools. Because I remember I used to love my school uniform. Like people used to laugh at me for buttoning up my blazer, and I was like, I feel amazing with this.
Oh,
It was-
yeah.
yeah. It's like I owned it. Really, it's nice, and I would still like to wear uniform. Like sometimes I come into uni with
Is that me?
with my blazer on, things like that. I just
Yeah.
want to feel that part and have that intention. So I think the uniform is a good idea.
I think
Yeah.
Arsha has a. I get your point in the terms of the choice of students having, but I see in my opinion as well. Like I loved having a suit. I don't mind that, but at times I was like, okay, like if you were to do a non-uniform day, like do a non-uniform day, or like allow, like in some cases allowing students to have that freedom. But if you see it from the perspective of like two different sides, like America doesn't have uniform for most cases. In some private schools they do. UK is fully uniform. Other than the fact of uniform, I think it's fair to say that an American school has more of a social viciousness because of the non-uniform and because of the mindset of, like, just the American mindset coupled with the non-uniform creates this, like, vicious
I don't
social
think there's a
hierarchy.
correlation there.
I think it does, but I think it depends on where you are. Because there's a lot of, when I was doing, like, some data science competitions a while back, some of the schools that were winning were top private schools in Philadelphia and other areas where they had uniform in it. But it was like, are you sure this is an American school? But I would say if you see in the normal sense, I know like media is probably not the best way to put it, but if you go to like American high school films, it's all like uniform plays a big part in the terms of the social structure.
My parents can support the fact that Canadian schools are, they were cliquey, like very cliquey back in the day, and they didn't have uniforms either. And the way people dressed helped delineate these cliques, right? Like the nerds would dress a certain way, whereas the metalheads would dress another way. Like, and
No,
it would delineate these factions within the school.
Yeah, box up.
Yeah, exactly. So ironically, it's the choice which then results in the kind of the formalization of a structure within the social context of the year group.
Yeah, I mean, there are good ways to teach your kids like determination
Yeah.
or something. Like
Okay.
put them on boxing or something rather than just making them wear something formal. Also, there shouldn't be a box. Like people shouldn't be like in a structure.
Oh, no. We would be super boring if we were all the same.
And
Yeah.
creativity is going to go away if you're in a box. So that's the point.
Okay.
Harry.
You've been in a system that had some level of freedom, where I was in a system that everybody had to wear everything similar, and nothing else. You couldn't even wear any makeup. You couldn't wear any nail
You're referring
polish.
to our system.
Yes.
Okay. Don't
Especially-
mention the name. I don't want to get arrested or something.
Yes. I feel like you said like the clicky thing, like with the nerds go with the nerds and the metalheads go with the metalheads. Yes, we all were the same, but at the same time, we didn't develop our creativity and our niche basically to the level that maybe the Western society would do, like in high school. Why? Because from the beginning, we didn't have the option. We didn't have the option to actually be in the group, be encouraged, be developed in a certain way.
So you don't have that flexibility, right?
Yeah.
See?
I think the flexibility is needed while there is a dress code, because
No.
Thank you.
because there is a dress
Arsha,
code,
that's
not a uniform.
This is-
A dress code, not a uniform necessarily.
A dress code,
Ours
yeah.
just being a
That's what I had
plant.
in my school. So my school had a
Yeah,
dress
but-
code.
You don't know why you don't like you care
Controlled
about
opposition.
dress too much. It
Because,
doesn't matter, guys.
Oh, it matters.
It
It matters.
definitely
Look,
With
I
Children in
myself,
boxing or something. Dress
I
doesn't
myself
matter.
don't really care as much about dress code, but I think it sets a mood when you have
No, I
suits.
could be shirtless today and say the same thing. Like
No, no,
doesn't
for
matter.
sure,
I'm
for
not
sure.
going to. It's not like a Vogue podcast.
Like I don't
Doesn't
like
mean you don't want to.
for me it was more so like maybe there shouldn't. It's debatable if you need the strictness in the dress code, like you're top button or whatever. Like that's debatable, sure. I know
What's
like we all
the
have different
goal
views on it. The
for the
goal
dress code?
is
To teach them
level the
determination?
ground.
No,
No,
it's
to level the ground.
playing field.
So like socioeconomic background doesn't reflect
Yeah.
through what you dress. So by doing a dress code, you allow students to have like unless you ask them, you're all the same.
It's like the culture, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like no one is higher than someone else. That's the
Okay.
dress code. It's
okay.
not more sense. Discipline is like an extra thing here in the UK. But yeah, go on, Daniel.
Think of the word uniform, uni one form.
Yeah.
Right. So it's teamwork. There's leveling the
Yeah,
field.
yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's
Now you're
one team.
marketing it like the way to sound good, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have a startup. Yes, you would like to give your workers and your colleagues some freedom to come in whatever you want, right?
Sure,
yeah,
but
I mean-
you would want them to look formal and look
I would
smart,
love them to
right?
all wear black because it's the culture of the
Okay.
startup.
Yes,
Is
like
that
that's
not
a
a
dress
uniform?
code, right?
Yes, this is because it's a culture. It's not like a.
No, but that's what it is.
But-
It's like we're fostering a culture
This is
of
it.
level
Yes,
ground.
that's the good reason.
teamwork, of social cohesion.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Yes.
that's what it promotes. This is, and you give the kids choices outside of that because absolutely help them develop their determination and their discipline. But when it comes to something as foundational, actually, as a uniform within education, as the social leveler, there are some things which just need to be put in place.
Yeah, no. If that's the like mission behind it, yes. I don't think that's the mission behind dress codes nowadays in schools. I don't think like that's the reason.
I think it's the underlying reason that maybe is forgotten to an extent.
It's
Yeah,
forgotten. I
yeah.
would say yes.
Well, perhaps it is, and frankly, like there was definitely a need at my previous chats for a dress code because it was zero dress code, and some people dressed inappropriately, and not just PJs, but like inappropriately for the class.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that that's a massive problem. But
yeah, I agree.
I know that we're running out of time a little bit.
We have like 5 minutes.
Let's-
We'll say 5 minutes.
Let's
Do
go.
you want to check the
Just checking
cameras?
the cameras.
That one. What does that one say?
I just tap it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
running. Okay, we're good.
Is it?
I think it's
said
Click,
running?
like lightly,
two are
lightly
running.
click on the.
Oh my god! Don't tell me.
It's off.
that drop. You're very.
It's on. It doesn't look like it's recording.
Was it recording?
Wait, is that?
Oh no, bro!
I don't.
It says. So after a brief technical interlude, Arsha, you were the one who brought up this question. Do we need teachers? Let's hear some thoughts.
That's a hard question. Do we need teachers in the next 2 to 3 years? Yes. Do we need teachers in the next 10 years? Probably not. I don't think like teachers would be. It's just if we still have teachers in 10 years, that would be a shame for technology because their role is important, but their role is used to be important regarding not just teaching the information, but actually, as we discussed, like connecting with people in other ways to teach them different kind of skills. But at the moment, like we are all in education system, I don't think they have any mission to teach us anything other than the content itself. So for keeping them around is just paying them money, which is crazy. And I think we have to remove them. Like this is not a radical thing. This is just a rational thing. We have to allocate the resources towards implementing the AI tools in the education system, the thing that you're doing, rather than just paying some people who don't care about anything other than the content. They don't teach us creativity. They don't teach us critical thinking. They don't teach us resilience, persistence. And I think these are the things that we should teach ourselves as like in a group. So I don't think we need teachers around in the next 10 years, I would say.
That's a good
We may
point.
need coaches, but not teachers.
So that sounds more like a paradigm shift, though. Rather than eliminating teachers, you're changing their function.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they could be in the loop just in case.
But don't you think it would be more so that teachers would change from directly teaching content to directly guiding?
No, they wouldn't change. They have this like mindset of like
What I-
all knowing and having this knowledge. They don't worth anything nowadays. We can just Google everything. I want to be honest.
So I would
How many
okay, so this is I'm a bit biased because I've had quite a lot of figures in terms of education on my side of things.
Yeah,
but I would say, yeah, I would agree with you in the sense of, yeah, for content, there's no need probably. Maybe at the end of the loop, sure.
Are you learning something more than the content in the uni?
No.
No.
I would say it depends. Not in the uni. Not in the uni.
Exactly. So why we need teachers?
But-
But we need the
they're
teachers for the guiding side of it.
Yeah.
For what guiding?
For
I'm sick.
How-
Please help me. Like that's
no. Okay, that's like a doctor level. What I'm saying, I'd say before uni, definitely we need to keep them, and that's more so.
because you're scared for the paradigm shift.
No.
Yes, you are.
No, the reason you should keep them is because although AI would teach the content, the teachers would then have more of an incentive to teach the skills
Exactly.
that surround the content.
What skills?
the
like
toolkit, which
the
we'll get
toolkit in
onto.
terms of interaction,
imagine-
how to like write stuff properly, how to problem solve, how to adapt, how to think of
Are we
things.
learning those?
No.
I'm not sure.
In
we're
But I-
schools
learning
we
but I
do.
think if
no,
we-
in
Are
schools
we learning
do.
now?
In schools we do.
No, not in university.
Not in university necessarily
Okay.
directly.
No, I'm talking like
Look.
I'm thinking about university.
Okay,
Look, imagine some kid who doesn't have good parenting. Like if there are no teachers, there
Then
are
they have
no
AI
mentors.
to parent them. Like
No,
that's
no,
Quantum.
AI cannot do that.
I feel like we've ignored the neurobiological significance
also
here
the fact
of
that-
human attachment in
Yeah.
this development, because I get what you're saying, and God knows I have been incredibly frustrated with the complacency and in many cases ignorance of some of my teachers. However, you can't then take the entire teaching profession and go, well, these people
don't
are
need to.
useless, so we should
Why
just
not?
get
We
rid
should
of all
start.
of them.
We should start from somewhere.
No, we need to turn around and go, so your function has changed. You no longer need to do the content, as Ismail has, I think, excellently outlined in that American school case study. You don't need to teach the content, so it's the skills. How do you approach that content? How do you make use of that content? How do you adapt in a world where the jobs will be changing so quickly, so rapidly, that I think it was either Jensen or Musk in the recent Saudi forum who said careers will span months rather than like year-long
Yeah, yeah,
careers, that you will want to be re-specializing quickly. So this is where the teachers come in. Like, how do you use the knowledge that the AI is providing?
I don't think we can shift like all of them. We have to lay off a lot of people.
No, definitely
the
we have to
thing.
lay off.
And
But-
we're going to have like advisors and coaches
Yeah.
along the way.
Yeah, advisor and coaches.
Yes, the
that's
same thing
good.
we have with startup. Like we don't learn how to do startup, right?
No, yeah, we do it
and
by
then
ourselves,
We have
yeah.
advice
But
from different people.
before 18, the kids should
The kids should have someone in like
somebody, because
In the next 2 to 3 years, yes, but
No,
because
forever.
because we're talking about human
Look.
connections. Just give me a sec. We're
Okay.
talking about human connections, but all AI algorithms have passed Turing test, which means they know how to fake the connections, which we don't like distinguish
Yeah,
from
but-
human connections. That's enough for us. That's enough for our brain to understand. Yes, we are having a conversation with another being, which seems like human.
Okay, but you can't synchronize your gaze with a robot. You can't synchronize your heartbeat with a robot. You cannot turn around with a robot and read its pheromonal body language, because it doesn't have these
I don't need
things.
to, but
No,
that
but
is
you
what
say you
you
don't
can.
need to. This is part of the social education. This is part of the education of reading people and understanding what it means to be human, because the AI can tell you how body language works, but unless you actually see how it works and experience how it works, It's like reading a book on how to build a rocket engine
Yeah.
and building the rocket engine.
It's
It's
like-
two different things.
It's like reading a book about Italy in the Renaissance era and not
Never been
then
to
going
Italy.
to Italy and actually smell and look at it. And it's like it's really different how it feels.
Like, okay, I'll give you a good example. Dune, right? Dune, have you watched the movie?
Guys, thank you.
No, like, I think I love Dune the movie, right? Dune,
Dune,
I think is a
yeah.
masterpiece.
take.
But the reason,
Number one.
if we're linking it to this, number one, you don't like number two.
Number two, I just thought it was a little bit
The-
too Hollywood, but
The way it's set up, I think, shows another good example, which is main character. He learns the skills and techniques and everything of the people who live on Arrakis. I think
Yeah.
right? But then when he goes there, it turns out that what he learned is one thing, but what actually changed and became the better thing, he's now learning from people to learn how it's like he's learning by example, which to an extent, yes, you could say, like AI, you could learn by example, but he had to actually go there and then he completely changed how he approached
Yeah, learning from
things.
human is different than just being a teacher.
So what I
Look,
mean is like
the teachers now maybe not. They're not the standards
Thank you,
right now.
by the way.
But what I'm saying is, on average, do you agree that most people have the IQ, have everything they need to succeed in the 12th grade, from first grade to 12th grade, right? Do you believe that most people have that IQ?
I would say they have. What's the exact question? They have the IQ to succeed in the first to 12th grade.
Why
Yeah, that's-
why
do you
don't
think-
some people succeed? Why don't some people succeed while it's an easy task to do?
Because it's not just about IQ, it's about persistence, it's about all the other skills.
Who
that
is
how would you-
gonna
how would
teach
you
them
learn
if their
persistence?
family if the
That's
family is
comes
not
back to family
good,
and themselves as well.
you can't trust the family all the way. You have to have.
Then we have to trust teachers who are woke.
No,
no, we're again. This is
At
the
least there is some backup plan. Like if
this is the paradigm shift.
This is the paradigm
I
shift.
completely agree with Parry. It's not trusting teachers who are woke because we know that they actually have. They do not have our children's best interests at heart. In fact, quite the opposite, I think. But what Parry is talking about, which I completely agree with, is having school being a place where you can further the education in the home within certain bounds, because I do think there are certain bounds where education should not be providing information to that child, that
Yeah.
that child should be getting that specifically from the home. When it comes to persistence, perseverance, determination, teamwork,
exactly.
like what if you're a single child? Like, what if your parents haven't had more than one child, and then you're expected to learn how to work in a team
I did.
at home?
I did. I don't have any siblings. I'm okay.
But you went to
Yeah,
your
you went to
parents
school.
were cool people, right? Were good people.
Yeah, I mean.
What if
I was
they
fortunate.
weren't? What if they weren't?
I mean, we always have like circumstances that.
No, but
Right.
a lot of people have those
So,
certain skills.
Daniel, you've been listening for
circumstances,
a long time. What's your takeaway on this? And then we can wrap up.
So, I'd like to say two things. I think the first one is something we haven't quite touched on. The second one, you're probably going to disagree. So, let's start with the second one. So you can clear that up first.
Cool.
So, is what we've been arguing for pretty much is the richness of experience.
Yeah.
If you're just tapping away on your laptop or whatever, you're not hearing the vocal cords sort of go through, like you're not hearing the vocal cords of your teacher, you're not smelling his presence, you're not feeling his or her presence, right? The AI can't really bring that sort of presence, and there's that richness of experience that can embed information deeper
Yeah.
into us.
Emotional association.
I actually
amongst
agree
other
with
things.
that. Yeah, I think that's a
Yeah.
good argument.
You have
It's
AI
a-
as
it's
like
an
a mini
embedding.
companion.
That's because you're going off of it's either we have AI or we have bad teachers. But remember, we have some good teachers as well that
Very
can
good.
really do that.
10%.
Yeah, because
Fair.
I can learn so much from a deep research here.
Maybe we should talk about how we should teach the teachers.
Yeah.
Educate the teachers.
Yeah, we should touch.
Hey, future episodes.
Future
Yeah,
episode.
We could learn so much from a deep research here. I'm sure Ismail, we love a good deep research, all of
Yeah.
us, right? But when I go and talk to a professor about something and he challenges my views and just like that, and he looks me in the eyes like, is this really the thing? I'm like, wow. And then it really forces you to think deeper.
that
It's-
experience
Yeah, that
you have.
That
presence.
experience,
Yes,
yeah.
The
I agree.
presenceness.
Yeah.
Remember, we are humans, and their interaction with other humans, it's really, really important. Instead of living this mechanistic life and just
That's a
tapping
key
away.
skill to survive as human beings as well. So that's very important.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree.
So, and then, okay, then my first thought is modeling. Modeling. So teachers are great models. Well, the good teachers,
Yeah.
right? Let's say Plato, Aristotle, or like even people, maybe like say Zuckerberg or Elon Musk, right? In their own respects,
Yeah.
they are models. We want to be something like them. Your idea of, I want to start a startup, I want to innovate something and make the world a better place. That comes from a place and an identity that you have formed through looking up to models.
Yeah.
And I cannot stress this enough, like the importance of having good models, good people to follow.
Yeah.
It's in many different aspects. It's embedded in our identity. It's embedded in what our motivations and things like that. And having good teachers can really help us have a better motivation.
Of
We've got an
course,
epidemic of
yeah.
meaning, of meaning, right? Meaninglessness. Do you think tapping away and chatbots and stuff like that that have
I
teachers?
mean, it's a
not-
chatbot now. It's not going to be
Of
stay a
course.
chatbot. for
Of
sure.
course. Let's say we have an AI robot in front of me that I can touch the skin of the robot and it's exactly the same as a human, right?
As Julian,
But-
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be a handsome
Julian
robot.
robot?
Cyborgs, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going
But-
to have an episode. on this
Right
one.
now, we can't even solve the thing of consciousness or understanding. So those robots can't really have that. So we still can't have a human-like connection with robots.
That's why
We'll
I
get
said
on
10
that.
years.
We'll get on that
That's
later.
why I said
Well,
10 years timeline.
I think parents are important. I think schooling in terms of the mentorship is important. But definitely we will touch on this again. This is a
For
good
sure,
one.
yeah. This is going to be a...
All right, guys.
Well,
Think-
finishing thoughts. I think Perry should probably finish because
Yes, please.
I'm interested to have her final take.
Yeah.
On this. So why don't we do it upside down this time? Let's start with our show.
yeah.
Yes, this is by design.
This is like, oh my god.
No, I want to say something logical this time.
I shouldn't have gone out of quantum.
I would say we need human in the loop for the transition period, and we have to start thinking about the way that we implement AI into education system. At the same time, try to teaching the skills that I mentioned, like creativity, persistence, critical thinking, teamwork, leadership, all those skills, which are very important compared to just the science itself. That's my takeaway from this episode.
Daniel.
I don't really have much more to add, I'd say, or my summarization of the education system would probably be the last few points that I made. Of course, we need to train the teachers. Of course,
Yeah.
that and how to train them and make like how to use AI better and things like that. We should still look and really value that richness that we of the connection and interaction that we can have with teachers and other human beings that can help us guide us and teach us, things like that. Yeah. I
Great
think-
points, yeah.
Yeah. Ismail.
Ismail.
Okay. Number one, I think that schools, institutions, educational leaders, the government, in whatever way you can, should be looking into how to equip your students with the foundational skills to succeed in life. And of those foundational skills, how to use AI effectively. This is the major thing that I think is overlooked at the moment. Even within, I'm talking like universities, secondary schools, middle schools. We shouldn't be rejecting AI because at the end of the day, if you don't know how to use AI, you will be left behind. And I think that the parenting and mentorship is an important part, an aspect of education that shouldn't be overlooked and should be given emphasis as much as equipping the students with the skills necessary. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
Julian.
I must agree with what Ismail said, and only add that I think a lot of disenfranchisement with the present education system has come of a lack of understanding around the weight of responsibility. Teachers shape generations. They have the capacity to shape the future for better or for worse. I think that needs to be encouraged. That mindset needs to be encouraged. An immense weight of responsibility and beauty in the vocation of the teacher needs to be encouraged, because I don't believe that we will ever have schools without human interaction. I do think there will be a paradigm shift. And as Ismail said, if we don't learn how to use AI, if we don't learn the tools necessary to function in an AI society and moving forwards, you will be left behind, I think. But the immense value of human-to-human interaction and the emulation of characteristics in elders that you admire, these things are formative to a child's development, and without them, will bring up a generation crippled.
Beautiful.
Parry.
Okay, one of my key takeaways from this was that, well, we all know that at the moment, AI is basically an assistant to most jobs. Hasn't taken over all the jobs, and but still is useful for a lot of things. It's a tool basically. And some people for now, and I believe some jobs will become like fully automated. Of course, they will be. But one of my key takeaway from this was that maybe teaching should stay this way, like more AI as an assistant, but some mentor to help you through it, through your life, through education, through everything. That's it.
Great points. Yeah, I guess we just wrap it up here.
Thank you all for listening.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, make sure to subscribe and see you in the next one.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
That was a
Bye-bye.
good one.